Welcome, you could be holding a small fortune without even knowing it. These 5 half-dollar coins might look ordinary, but one small detail could make them worth thousands. In this video, we'll uncover the rarest errors, secret features, and shocking values hidden inside these coins. Think you've seen them before? Think again. This is the treasure hunt your pocket change has been waiting for. Number 1. Welcome to the channel, fellow coin lovers and treasure hunters. If you've ever glanced at a shiny old coin and wondered, is this worth anything? You're in the right place. Today we're diving deep into one of the most talked about bicentennial coins in U.S. history, the 1776 to 1976 D. Kennedy half-dollar. It's not just a coin, it's a piece of American celebration, a collector's prize, and possibly a jackpot hiding in your change jar. Let's unlock the secrets of this half-dollar that's turning heads across the numismatic world. The Kennedy half-dollar is already a fan favorite among collectors. But the 1776 to 1976 edition, minted to commemorate America's 200th birthday, is extra special. The D Mint mark means it was struck at the Denver Mint, and over 287 million of them were made. So, why are some of these coins being sold for astronomical amounts? Let's break it down. First, the key features. The obverse of this coin still features the iconic profile of President John F. Kennedy, strong, stoic, and presidential. But what makes it stand out is the double date beneath his neck, 1776 to 1976. This is not just a date, it's a tribute to 2 centuries of American freedom. Flip it over, and you'll find something truly unique, an image of Independence Hall in Philadelphia, replacing the usual presidential seal. This design, created by Seth Huntington, was a beautiful way to honor the spirit of 1776. Now, let's talk errors, because that's where things get interesting. Some of these coins left the mint with striking mistakes. And if you know what to look for, you might just hit the jackpot. One of the most sought-after errors is a double die obverse, where parts of the lettering or Kennedy's features appear slightly doubled due to a misalignment during the minting process. Another error to watch for is weak or missing detail in Independence Hall on the reverse, especially if it looks faint or smudged. And yes, a rare few even show off planchet errors, where the coin wasn't struck properly, leaving strange textures or shapes along the edges. So, why are these coins so valuable? It all comes down to rarity, condition, and demand. A perfectly preserved coin with one of these rare errors, or one struck in a high-grade condition, is incredibly desirable. If your half-dollar has sharp details, full luster, and no signs of wear, it could be worth far more than 50 cents. The market for Kennedy half-dollars is thriving, especially for bicentennial issues in top condition. Coins graded MS67 or higher are rare, and those with unique errors? Even rarer. But how do you know if you've got one of the valuable ones? Here's how to spot a winner. First, look for that D Mint mark, located just below Kennedy's neck, above the date. Next, examine the coin under a good light or magnifying glass. Check the lettering for doubling, especially In God We Trust and Liberty. Then, flip to the reverse and inspect the detail in Independence Hall. Is it sharp and clear, or faint and mushy? Finally, check the coin's edges. Any unusual weight, texture, or missing design could mean you're looking at an error coin. Now here's a question for you. Have you ever found a bicentennial half-dollar in your pocket or coin jar? And if so, did you check it for these hidden details? Let me know in the comments below. I love hearing your discoveries. Before we wrap up, here's the number that has everyone buzzing. One flawless example of the 1776 to 1976 D. Kennedy half-dollar, graded at the highest level and featuring rare characteristics, was sold for a jaw-dropping $125,000. Yes, you heard that right. A half-dollar coin that once bought a pack of gum could now buy you a luxury car. So the next time you come across one of these bicentennial beauties, take a closer look. That little piece of copper and nickel might just be your ticket to something big. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the bell icon for more stories from the hidden world of coins. Every coin tells a story, and some might just tell you you're sitting on a fortune. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting! Number 2. Today, we're taking a closer look at a coin that might be hiding in plain sight, one that many people pass over without a second glance. But if you know what to look for, the 1972 D. Kennedy half-dollar could be far more than just 50 cents. Get ready to uncover the fascinating story behind this coin, its rare errors, how to identify the valuable ones, and why this piece of American currency has become a hidden treasure among collectors. So grab your magnifying glass, and maybe your coin jar, because you just might have something special sitting at home. Let's begin with the key features of the 1972 D. Kennedy half-dollar. Minted at the Denver Mint, this coin features the signature D. Mint mark located just beneath President John F. Kennedy's neck on the obverse. Like all Kennedy half-dollars after 1971, it's made of a copper-nickel-clad composition, no silver here. But don't let that fool you into thinking it isn't valuable. On the obverse, you'll find a bold and confident portrait of JFK facing left, surrounded by the words, Liberty, and the motto, In God We Trust. Flip it over, and you'll see the presidential seal, an eagle clutching arrows and an olive branch, surrounded by 50 stars. It's a classic, patriotic design that has stood the test of time, but the true value of this coin lies in what you don't always see at first glance: the errors. The 1972 D. Kennedy half-dollar is infamous for a couple of significant and highly sought-after minting mistakes. One of the most talked about is the missing FG initials on the reverse side of the coin. These initials, short for Frank Gasparo, the coin's designer, should appear just to the right of the eagle's tail feathers. If they're missing due to dye polishing or a striking issue, you've got something rare on your hands. Another error to be on the lookout for is doubling on the obverse, especially in the inscriptions, Liberty, or In God We Trust. This kind of doubling can happen when the die strikes the coin more than once or slips during the process. While subtle, collectors are always hunting for clean examples of doubled dies. There are also off-center strikes and planchet errors, where the coin isn't fully formed or is misaligned during production. These mistakes are instantly recognizable and instantly desirable. So why are these error coins so valuable? It all comes down to rarity and demand. The 1972 D. Kennedy half-dollar was mass-produced. Tens of millions were made, but only a tiny fraction have these special errors. That makes them stand out in a sea of otherwise common coins. And when a collector finds one in pristine, uncirculated condition, especially one with a known error, the value jumps dramatically. These coins are pieces of history, and the thrill of the hunt adds to their appeal. Imagine flipping through a handful of coins and suddenly spotting that telltale sign, No, FG, under the eagle, or strange doubling in the letters. That's the magic of coin collecting. It's history, art, and a treasure hunt, all in one. So how do you spot one? Start with the basics. Look for the D mint mark below Kennedy's neck. That tells you it was made in Denver. Next, check for the FG initials on the reverse. Are they crisp and clear? Or missing entirely? If they're gone, that's a huge red flag, in a good way. Then look closely at the lettering. If anything looks shadowed, or like there's a faint double outline, you might have a doubled die. And always examine the coin's edge and overall symmetry. If the design looks shifted or off-center, that could be another valuable error. And here's something fun. Grab a loupe or magnifying glass and go through your loose change. You'd be surprised how many people overlook half-dollars, especially the older ones. But collectors know, these coins can be hiding in drawers, jars, and pocket change all across the country. Now it's your turn. Have you ever found a Kennedy half-dollar that looked just a little off? Maybe the eagle looked different, or the initials were gone. Drop your experience in the comments below. I'd love to hear your story, and so would the entire community of coin lovers tuning in. And before we wrap up, let's talk about just how far one of these coins can go in the right condition. A 1972 D. Kennedy half-dollar, with a rare error and preserved in mint state condition, once sold for an astonishing $61,000. That's right. What might seem like spare change could actually be a rare treasure, so don't overlook those Kennedy half-dollars. Look closely, stay curious, and keep collecting, because your next big discovery might already be in your hands. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss another story from the world of rare US coins. See you in the next one. Number 3. Today's video takes us more than a century back in time to uncover a coin that's not only a piece of American history but also a rare and valuable find, the 1918 Walking Liberty $50. If you're a collector, a history buff, or just someone who loves the thrill of discovering hidden gems, this episode is made for you. We're going to break down the key features of this stunning coin, explore the rare errors to watch out for, explain why it's so valuable, and show you exactly how to spot one that might be worth far more than face value. So sit back, and let's dive into the story of the 1918 $50. First, let's talk about the coin itself. The 1918 $50 is part of the iconic Walking Liberty series, minted from 1916 to 1947. Designed by Adolph A. Weinman, this coin is widely regarded as one of the most beautiful ever produced by the U.S. Mint. On the obverse, Lady Liberty strides forward confidently, wrapped in the American flag, carrying laurel and oak branches, a symbol of peace and strength. The sun rises behind her, giving the design a sense of hope and renewal. On the reverse, we see a powerful bald eagle perched on a mountain crag, wings half spread, symbolizing vigilance and freedom. The 1918 edition was minted at 3 different locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, DE mint mark; and San Francisco, S mint mark, with each version having its own rarity and desirability. You'll find the mint mark on the reverse, near the rim below the eagle's left talon. Now let's get into what really excites collectors: the errors and varieties that can make this coin incredibly valuable. One of the most well-known and sought-after errors in the 1918 Walking Liberty $50 series is the overdate variety, where a 1918 D coin shows traces of a 1917 date beneath the 1918 digits. This happens when an old die is reused and the new date is punched over the old one. If you look closely with a magnifying glass, especially at the 8 in the date, you might notice remnants of a 7 hiding beneath it. This kind of error is extremely rare and highly desirable. Another thing to watch for is weak strikes, coins where the details in Liberty's dress or the eagle's feathers are not fully formed. While not technically an error, a weak strike from this era can actually increase value when found in unusually sharp or well-detailed specimens, since strong strikes are hard to come by for this date. There's also the potential for die cracks and lamination errors due to the older minting technology of the early 20th century. These kinds of irregularities, lines, missing details, or peeling surfaces, can turn a coin into a unique collectible piece. So, why is the 1918 $50 so valuable? It's a combination of age, beauty, and scarcity. These coins were minted during the final year of World War I, a time of great change in American history. Many were heavily circulated, used in commerce for decades, and as a result, few high-grade examples have survived. Finding one with sharp details, a clean surface, and no signs of heavy wear is like discovering a relic from another era. And of course, when you throw in a dramatic mint error, like the overdate, you get a coin that serious collectors will pay top dollar for. The fact that these coins are over 100 years old only adds to their mystique. So, how can you spot one? First, check the date. Make sure it's clearly 1918, and then look very closely at each digit. If you're lucky, especially with the Denver minted coins, you might catch a faint 7 under the 8. That's your overdate. Flip the coin and check for the mint mark just below the branch on the reverse. A D or S could signal a more limited mintage and higher value. Then examine the details. Is Liberty's gown fully struck? Can you see the eagle's feathers clearly? If yes, that's a strong strike, a great sign. Also, look for any odd markings, raised lines, or missing details. If something looks off, don't toss it aside. You might be looking at an error that turns an old coin into a prized rarity. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever found an old coin from the early 1900s? Maybe something passed down from a family member or discovered at a garage sale? Drop your stories in the comments below. You never know who you'll inspire or what mystery we might help solve together. And now, the number everyone wants to hear. A rare 1918 Walking Liberty $50 in pristine condition, especially one featuring a known error like the 1918/7D overdate, has sold at auction for as much as $60,000. That's right, a coin struck more than a century ago could still change someone's life today. So next time you're sorting through a box of old coins, keep an eye out for Lady Liberty walking across a sunrise. Because that worn piece of metal could be worth a whole lot more than you think. If you found this video helpful or interesting, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss the next hidden gem we uncover. Until then, happy hunting, and may your next find be a valuable one. Number 4. If you're someone who enjoys the thrill of discovering hidden treasures in everyday places, then buckle up. Because today's episode might just change the way you look at loose change forever. We're diving into the story of the 1971 D. Kennedy $50, an iconic coin that's not only rich in American history but also potentially worth thousands of dollars, if you know what to look for. So, whether you're a seasoned numismatist or a casual coin roll hunter, this video is for you. Let's start with the basics. What makes the 1971 D. Kennedy $50 stand out? This coin was minted in Denver in 1971, the first year the U.S. Mint struck Kennedy $50 without any silver content. From 1965 to 1970, these coins contained 40% silver. But starting in 1971, the mint transitioned to a copper-nickel-clad composition. That means the 1971 D was part of a new era, one where the $50 became more of a commemorative piece than a commonly circulated coin. The obverse features the bold and dignified portrait of President John F. Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts, while the reverse showcases the presidential seal, an eagle clutching arrows and an olive branch, designed by Frank Gasparo. It's a classic look that many Americans know by heart. Now, you might be wondering, if this coin isn't silver, what makes it so valuable? Well, here's where things get exciting. The 1971 D. Kennedy $50 has become famous among collectors because of rare minting errors that slip through unnoticed. One of the most talked about errors is the 1971 D silver planchet error. Even though the mint officially stopped using silver that year, a small number of $50 were mistakenly struck on leftover 40% silver planchets from the previous year. These rare specimens are out there, and they're worth a fortune, so how can you tell if you've got one of these silver planchet errors? First, do the ring test. Drop the coin gently on a hard surface. A copper-nickel-clad coin will have a dull thud, while a silver coin has a more high-pitched, ringing tone. Next, check the edge. A regular clad coin will have a clearly visible copper stripe along the edge. But a silver coin? That stripe will be missing or much fainter. The edge should appear uniformly silver or gray. You can also weigh the coin. A clad 1971 D $50 weighs about 11.34 grams. While a silver-clad error may weigh slightly more, around 11.5 to 11.6 grams. It might seem like a small difference, but for collectors, that small detail means everything. Another error to look out for is the double die obverse, where you can see doubling in Kennedy's profile, the date, or the lettering like Liberty, or In God We Trust. These errors occurred during the hubbing process at the mint, and coins with clear doubling are very collectible. You should also watch for off-center strikes, die cracks, or planchet flaws. Any anomaly that makes your coin unique can significantly boost its value. So why is the 1971 D. Kennedy $50 valuable? It all comes down to rarity, historical significance, and minting mistakes. While the standard coins are relatively common, those struck on silver planchets or showing major errors are incredibly rare. And because the silver error was unintentional, most were released into circulation unnoticed. That means some could still be hiding in coin jars, pocket change, or old collections gathering dust. These coins represent a mix of human error and historical transition, and for collectors, that's the perfect recipe for a desirable piece. Now, here's how to spot one for yourself. Start by checking every 1971 D $50 you come across. If you find one, weigh it. Examine the edge. Do the ring test. Look for any unusual luster or color. And always use a magnifier to spot any signs of doubling or striking errors. You never know when you might stumble upon a coin that turns out to be something special. Here's a question for you. Have you ever found a coin with an error, or do you have a 1971 D Kennedy $50 sitting in your collection? Drop a comment below and let us know what you found. We love hearing your stories. And now, for the part everyone's been waiting for, one of these rare 1971 D Kennedy $50, specifically a silver planchet error in top condition, has sold for an astonishing $68,000 at auction. That's right. A coin that many people overlook could be worth more than a brand new luxury car. So next time you're digging through your spare change or flipping through a coin album, keep an eye out for the 1971 D. Because sometimes, treasure doesn't have to be buried, it might be sitting in your pocket right now. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a rare coin reveal. Until next time, happy collecting, and may your next find be a life-changing one. Number 5. Today's journey into American coinage takes us to a coin that many people see, but few truly appreciate: the 1973 Kennedy $50. If you've ever held one of these hefty coins in your hand, you know how solid and striking it feels. But did you know that within this common coin lies the potential for a shocking discovery? Yes, you heard that right. A seemingly ordinary 1973 Kennedy $50 could be worth a small fortune, if you know what to look for. So get ready for an exciting deep dive into the secrets, features, and surprises of this remarkable coin. Let's start with the key features. The 1973 Kennedy $50 was part of a coin series that began in 1964, just months after the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. The design was created in his honor, with the obverse showing a bold portrait of Kennedy by Gilroy Roberts and the reverse featuring the presidential seal, an eagle holding an olive branch and arrows, designed by Frank Gasparo. Now, here's the interesting part. Unlike the 1964 version, which was made of 90% silver, and the 1965 to 1970 versions, which were 40% silver, the 1973 Kennedy $50 was struck in a copper-nickel clad composition. That means it's not made of silver, yet it still holds serious value. How? We'll get to that. In 1973, these coins were not released into general circulation. They were only minted for collector sets, meaning fewer were made and fewer were widely seen. That makes them rarer than most other modern $50. But the real treasure lies in the errors that occurred during the minting process. So, what errors should you look for? One of the most sought-after errors is the doubled die obverse. This happens when the coin's design is struck twice slightly off alignment, creating a doubling effect that can be seen in the lettering, numbers, or even Kennedy's profile. Look closely at the words, "Liberty in God We Trust," and the date, 1973. If the letters or numbers appear slightly shadowed or doubled, you could be looking at a valuable variety. Another exciting error is the off-center strike, where the coin was not properly aligned in the press. Depending on how off-center the strike is, it can range from mildly interesting to extremely collectible, especially if the date is still visible. There's also the rare clipped planchet error, where a portion of the coin appears to be missing due to an error in the blank cutting process. These odd shapes often make collectors do a double take, and they're definitely worth more than face value. But perhaps the most thrilling type of error is when a coin is struck on the wrong planchet, like a quarter or foreign coin blank. These types of errors are extremely rare and can be worth thousands when authenticated. So, why is the 1973 Kennedy $50 valuable? It's a combination of limited release, historical significance, and minting errors. Since it wasn't released into circulation, many Americans never saw these coins unless they were collectors. That alone gives the 1973 issue a certain mystique. Add in the chance of rare errors, like doubled dies or off-metal strikes, and suddenly, this coin isn't just a piece of history, but a possible jackpot. And with Kennedy's enduring legacy, this $50 holds a timeless appeal to collectors across generations. So how can you spot a valuable 1973 Kennedy $50? Start by checking coin sets from 1973, especially those from family collections or estate sales. Use a magnifying glass to examine the details. Look closely at the letters, numbers, and edges of the coin. Weigh it. If it doesn't match the expected 11.34 grams, you might have something unusual. And always check for any signs of doubling, missing details, or misshaped edges. Now here's a fun question for you. Have you ever come across a Kennedy half-dollar with a strange feature or error? Let us know in the comments below. Your story might help someone else make an incredible discovery. And finally, what's the potential value of a rare 1973 Kennedy half-dollar? If you find one of these coins with a major error, especially in mint condition, it could be worth an astounding $58,000. That's right, a coin meant for collectors could end up paying for a car, a vacation, or even a college education. So the next time you see a Kennedy half-dollar, don't just toss it aside. Take a closer look. That one coin could be the hidden gem that changes your collection forever. If you enjoyed this video and want to uncover more secrets about rare and valuable US coins, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and happy hunting!